All right. Hello, everyone. We are back for another version of our rant. It's now almost November, 2020. We're well into post-COVID, just about to get into some winter. And one thing that we've been getting a lot of questions, especially as people's, financial situations have changed and their jobs have changed, is reverse mortgages. Is this something that can apply? And we're seeing a massive uptick. And we've invited one of our favorite lender partners, Rizwan from Equitable Bank, to give us some insight and share some insider information about reverse mortgages, what they're doing, and how it could be a huge benefit for Canadians with getting access to financing. So Rizwan, thanks, man, for being on here
No problem, no problem. Anytime,
in in my
anytime.
makeshift
So,
studio here.
yeah, no problem. I do apologize if the video is a little bit choppy here,
Oh, it's all good. I think it's all acceptable stuff in COVID, man. It's all good.
perfect, perfect. Yeah. So what did you want to know? What do you guys want to know about reverse
Well,
mortgages,
let's
I
get
guess,
like into
right?
it. I mean,
Um,
let's start with what's a reverse mortgage, because I think there's a little bit of a misunderstanding and almost like a negative connotation when saying reverse mortgage. This is your option, but like maybe shed some light on it from what your version of what that is means.
so obviously, this product is definitely a niche product, right?
Yeah,
There's not a lot of companies out there that offer this product. But what I also find is there's a lot of misrepresentation or misinterpretation of this
for
product out
sure.
there. There's a lot of negative stigmas about this product that people don't truly understand. And, people, as they always say, if they don't understand it, they're kind of scared of it, right? To the definition of a reverse mortgage basically is look, this product is like any other mortgage product, which allows you to take out the equity out of your home, right? To refinance or even on a purchase, take equity out of your home tax free, right? It's a
Yeah,
type of residential mortgage, and that's essentially what it is. Now, if we get into some of the stigmas around it, number one, you got to understand that the clients will continue to own their home, right? And
that's
that's
huge.
the number one thing. Yeah, there's a lot of stigmas that, oh no, the bank owns a home,
The bank's gonna take
and
your
to
home or whatever. Yeah,
exactly. And the other thing is, there's no payments, right?
that's
And
also huge.
for yeah, there's no monthly payment requirement. So for a lot of people, it's a head scratcher. Well, if a bank is lending out money on a property, how and with no monthly payments, what's the risk to the client here? Well, at the end of the day, it's the risk is based on the age of the client and the value of the property, right? Um, n- Number one, the government of Canada looks very, uh, people that kind of gouge pensioners and elderly people, they're frowned upon, when the government of Canada is involved. So, as a lender that's offering, especially Equitable Bank, a reverse mortgage, the number one thing we want to make sure is that we're doing the right thing for the client, right? This is the right product for the client. That's the number one thing that we assess, right? Secondly, we look at the value of the property. We also look at their age. LTV is essentially determined by their age, and
Just to
the
interrupt you, the LTV, in case,
right.
because we're a little technical, that's how much loan to value, how much borrowing against the value. So if it's worth a million, you're borrowing half of it, 50 LTV. Just in case anyone's like, "What's an LTV?" I'm googling this.
Exactly, exactly.
Okay, sorry to interrupt, man.
No problem. Yeah. And so, bottom line is, I mean, we want to protect the borrowers because this is a demographic of the Canadian citizens that is very vulnerable, and we want to
Yeah,
make sure. My parents are in their 70s and 80s, and you want to make sure that they are well protected. So this product is obviously highly regulated as well by the
yeah,
regulators. Make sure we're doing things properly, right? But bottom line, just to simplify it, look, it allows applicants to pull out equity from their home to essentially do what they need the funds for. And there's three main reasons. Number one, given the tightening of certain requirements on income and qualifying for mortgages, parents could gift these funds to their kids, right, to buy
yeah.
their first home. Number two, if you're a pensioner now and you were employed a couple of years ago, why should you have to restrict your lifestyle based on a reduced income now? right? You've worked your whole life to pay down this mortgage. You've built up this equity in the home. Why should you change your lifestyle? So this allows them to continue with their lifestyle. They want to travel, they
Yeah,
want to,
yeah.
help out their kids, they're able to do that, right? So it's not doom and gloom once you retire. And that's, I think the emphasis that Equitable Bank is trying to put is that this is just another option for clients to extend their lifestyle, help their loved ones, and still continue to live in their home, right? So that is essentially in a nutshell. I know it's a longer explanation as far as what a reverse mortgage is, but that is pretty much how we look at what this
Well,
product does for clients, right?
why don't we, maybe just look at a specific case study of a
Right.
typical possible client. So I'll give you one that was recent. My client was in their mid to late 70s, and both my client and her son reached out to me, and they were they had a home that was free and clear, I think just a little bit north of $1 million in Toronto, right? Free and clear. And they said, look, my mom's a little bit older. My dad passed away. She's living alone. It's a pretty big home, and she's got very little income, maybe like $1,500 a month, which she's okay, but she's just kind of making it work for her. And she's got a lot of health expenses. We're thinking of possibly selling her home and maybe buying a property. And after a bit of a discussion, we realized that wasn't really what they wanted to do. They just thought that they had to sell the home to get the money they needed to help them
Right.
downsize, but also, support her lifestyle. And we had a discussion around a reverse mortgage. They actually had heard of it, but they had a bad stigma about it. They're just like, oh, the bank's going to take my house. It's these ridiculous rates, and they're going to erode all the equity I've built up here. And we had a conversation and said, look, how much would you actually need? And they gave me a number. I don't remember what it was, like 300,000-400,000. And we worked out
Right.
the number that if we were to take that money out and they were to put it in a savings account or something ultra low risk, they were able
Right.
to then take money every single month, kind of like a monthly pension, if you will, to
Right.
support her
Right.
for the next, essentially as long as she would need to, basically.
Right.
And then we told
Right.
her, you don't have to make any payments to this. Your property will continue to grow in value. You still own the home. You still live in your house. And qualifying is pretty straightforward. A couple basic things. You have to get an appraisal done. That's pretty much it, for the most
100%.
part. So
100%.
we ran through the math, we got her the approval, we did the appraisal, all that basic stuff, and we turned it around very quickly. And they were like, I hadn't thought about this as an option. I just thought it was, in my friends that had told me not to do this. And what was funny is after she set it up and was very happy, she actually referred one of her other, I guess, older friends to have a
Right.
similar conversation as well, because they didn't really understand what it was. So I think it was a great solution for her. And one thing that she stressed was it was tax free, and number two is it didn't affect the benefits she was receiving from the government. So by receiving that money,
Exactly.
it's not like it goes against your ability to continue to receive government subsidies or whatever you're getting, because it's a tax
Yeah.
free money, equity
Income.
takeout. It's like selling your home,
Right.
essentially. So
Right.
that was just a
Exactly.
recent case study. But I mean, I don't know if you have any
Yeah.
other ones
So
that.
I actually have another one. Look, I mean, this could fit so many different scenarios, but one that's really profound in my head that actually I do remember. We had a 84-year-old who lived on the Danforth, right?
Yep. Toronto.
She has multiple kids, multiple grandkids. The older generation with a lot of kids and grandkids, and old school immigrant, family where the grandmother does not want to move into a retirement home, right? And the kids and the grandkids would always constantly go over there, help her, cook for her, and do everything. So, and they approached a broker in regards to either selling the house, exact same situation as you, or refinancing. But then, given the kids and the grandkids' economic situation, none of them could go on the deal. So their last resort was, hey, we're going to sell a property, maybe downsize her into a condo or something along those lines. And the broker suggested a reverse mortgage. So, and we did this. And the value of the property, it was actually on the Danforth. The grandmother bought it back in the 50s and 60s, right? It was paid off, but it's worth about 2.5, 2.7 million.
Yeah.
I think the loan amount we gave her was around 6 to 700,000, right?
Yeah.
Which in turn, if you do a 20-year sort of amortization on what
Oh,
the
like how
rate
much
we
she's
gave her,
receiving. Yeah. Yeah.
how much she's receiving, or even the loan itself with the interest
Got it.
growth on it, there's still tons of equity left in the home, even over 20 years, right? So We gave her these funds, and you know what she wanted to use the funds for? She wanted to use the funds for, number one, updating the house a little bit, right? Fixing it up so it's a little bit more accessible to her because she was
Yeah.
older.
Yeah.
Secondly, she actually wanted to hire a nurse to come in on a daily basis to help take care of her,
Oh,
right?
okay.
So cooking, cleaning,
So she's
everything.
living in
So
her comfort of her home. She's able to pay for this and
exactly.
doesn't have to sell the home. And yeah, I mean, all that, that's
Exactly.
a good,
And the kids were happy because obviously it's a little bit less stress on their head because they know they have someone coming and taking care after their mother and grandmother. So that is one of the case studies that actually, I still remember because it was like, this is perfect for a person in this situation that doesn't want to move into a retirement home, right? And could continue her lifestyle,
if,
right?
if I
So,
could just share one more, kind of a slightly different strategy that I think
right,
we don't see as much, but I think is a great opportunity is as like a tax planning or financial planning strategy. So
right,
let's say you don't really need the money. Let's say you don't even, you're in a situation where you have, good income, good retirement income, and you're fine.
right,
I had a
right.
client that was, I think, a former dentist, and he had a very big home, maybe 3 million or plus, zero mortgage. And we
Hmm.
had a discussion around taking, it was a huge loan, maybe $1 million or something, taking a $1 million reverse mortgage, tax free, no
Right,
payments on it, and then he used that to invest because that's what he wanted to do.
right,
He wanted to invest
right,
money, and that's kind of what he was doing full time. So a very
right.
different sort of person, but he got that money without selling the property, no payments on it, and was able, because if he was otherwise taking money out of the company that he had built, he would be taxed on that. So there's almost a
Exactly.
tax planning
Yeah.
feature that you can take advantage of something like this too.
So, and my idea on that, what, and that's another avenue where you could use this reverse mortgages for investment purposes, right? Uh, but essentially, what I always tell clients and brokers is, it has to make sense, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
When this product was first launched, the rates were in the fours and the fives, so it has to make sense, especially if you're using this as investment, right?
Yeah.
But currently, I mean, with us, Equitable Bank right now, we have a lump sum rate at 319, right? Which
That's
is
where rates
definitely
were at
low.
the big banks in January,
Exactly,
right? In the
exactly.
low threes, you were going to a big
Yeah,
bank. So
exactly. So, you could utilize the low rate. Now, the other avenue that I could also suggest what people are using it for is updating their homes. You have, all the kids that are moved out of the house. You just have the parents, and they truly want to downsize. They don't want to stay with the upkeep of a large property because the kids are moved out, but the property is dated. They never got a chance to update it. This is a perfect opportunity to take this reverse mortgage,
yeah,
utilize it to update the property, get top dollar when you actually sell it, and
yeah.
then they could even look at getting a reverse mortgage on the purchase as well when they downsize, right? So, for the people that think they don't have the money to update, I got to sell it, kids are moved out. Listen, like,
I bet you.
why sacrifice the value on that, right? So it's
Well,
another
here's
opportunity.
just kind of a last item here. So, with COVID, a lot of people have lost their jobs. A lot of people are reimagining what their life is because they're thinking, I don't even need to work in a big city anymore. I can essentially, I've had clients that are saying I can just travel and continue to work remotely. So I think people are using COVID as a way to really evaluate, like, how can I make the most of my life? But we're also seeing people that are reevaluating their financial situation, thinking like, hey, if this was to happen again, can I actually deal with it? Like, am I financially prepared? So we've
Right.
actually seen a rise in more reverse mortgages. More people are having conversations and maybe being better financial planning. And are you guys seeing a rise too? Are you seeing kind of more of a demand for this type of thing?
100%. So let's just put it in perspective. Pre-COVID, we were already seeing a increase in the demand for this product, and the number one reason was there was a lot of baby boomers that were retiring,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And there was a ton of baby boomers that were retiring, and there was more of a demographic of the Canadian, population that was retiring. So we already saw an increase on that. But what amplified it is COVID, right? And there was a couple of articles in the Toronto Star, and I believe Ryerson did a study, and this is back in July this year. And there's because of what's going on with COVID, what happened in retirement homes,
yeah,
as
yeah.
far as,
Got it.
there's quite a few people that passed away. More people want to stay in their house. They don't want to go to retirement homes. So
Makes
they
sense.
did a study and they broke it down per age, right? It was about 1,500 people that they surveyed, and between 55 and up. And there was about a 70% acceptance that, these clients want to stay in their house. So 70% of those 1,500 people surveyed said they preferred to stay in the house, right?
Interesting. Okay.
And so you just see that trend. Look, I mean, with the coronavirus out there, it's just a lot of people are scared, right? And why not use the equity in your home and stay in your house? And also, the other reason that was always there is parents want to take money out to help their kids get their first house as well too. And even last year pre-COVID, there was this thing about millennials affordability. Rents are too high in the GTA core, and where am I going to?
This is like an early inheritance, essentially.
Exactly.
That you can see the benefits of.
Exactly, and this is an early inheritance. And look, I've always said this, and people always say this. Buying and selling land is the oldest business in the world, right? And it doesn't. For you to own property, will only appreciate in value down the road, right? So it's definitely a good investment versus renting, and that's my belief. And if you get in either now or later, if you sit on that property, the value is only going to grow. And if you can't get into it now, parents are helping their kids to get into it by utilizing this product, right? So yeah.
Cool. These are all good points. I mean, I don't know. I think what's really important is really just having a conversation, make sure that it does work for you, because there's obviously other options out there, but have a conversation with your broker partner, make sure it fits for you, and don't go into it with almost like a filter, because I think there's a lot more to it than what people seem to have a perception on. And I think slowly people are being more educated and realizing there's a lot of other benefits. So, hey man, I appreciate your time. I don't know if you have any other closing comments or something you want to throw out there.
Well, just put it in perspective. I mean, look, we're one of the few lenders that does offer this product. It's very robust. We got tons of information on our website on this too. If not, reach out to a broker.
EquitableBank.ca.
EquitableBank.ca. There's tons of information on there. There's actually a reverse mortgage calculator that you as a client or as agent could actually go on there and evaluate what you qualify for. Right. And it takes 30 seconds, and it actually does an amortization schedule, even though this is a non-amortized product, but it gives you a snapshot over 20 years. If you don't pay this loan, your monthly payments, what's the loan going to look like? Right. And the great thing about this tool that we have that makes it great is that, it also takes into account the appreciation of your property too. Right. So it gets down to a granular level where it measures that as well too, right? So the last thing I want to make a comment on is it's a great product, and I think more and more Canadians are leaning towards this product as a different avenue to either supplement their income, do additional investments. And the biggest, thing about this product is education. Know the product in regards to overcoming the stigmas that are out there. And when this product was launched a couple of years ago with us, that was the number one thing. It was just education basis that not a lot of people knew about it, right? So it's a great product, fantastic product. Reach out to us if you guys have any questions, and we'll go from there.
Cool. Rizwan, man, thank you so much for spending some time with us and sharing all this stuff, and look forward to seeing you when we can see you.
Exactly.
Thank you so much, man.
All right.
Appreciate it. Cheers.
Talk to you soon. Bye.